Hey, what's up you guys, it's MCA Lego Boy here with a little bit of an unconventional review. So today I'm actually going to be reviewing Nathan Sawaya's The Art of the Brick. Currently it is in Tampa, Florida, and it will be at the Vivek Family Foundation from June 23rd to September 4th. Now, it's already kind of partway through July, so it's been open for a bit, but recently, my dad and we went to go see the show. It's probably like the only time I'm ever gonna get to see Nathan Sawaya's stuff. And of all the certified professionals and Lego artists there are in the world, Nathan Sawaya is my personal favorite because of stuff like Yellow. Yellow is is really great, and similar works are just as great. So, kind of wanted to talk about it. So, you already know when the show's going on. I didn't give you much else to go off of, though. The building opens up at 10. I don't remember when it closes. It's kind of not all that important as to when it closes, because you actually want to be there kind of like a half an hour at like the least. You kind of want to be there about a half an hour before doors even open. And the reason why is because they only let in a certain number of people in at a time. Now, they say it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get through the whole exhibition. Yeah, it took about like an hour and a half or something like that. But that's because my dad, he insists on reading everything. I was just reading like the last paragraphs on stuff because that's when Nathan comes in and says why he made what he made. Particularly for the stuff that he recreates out of Lego. But it took us a little longer, and also because my dad insisted that I take a bunch of pictures so that my mom could see them. Because she didn't get to go, I guess. I don't know why we didn't invite her necessarily. We told her what was going on, and she never said that she wanted to go. So, I don't know. But anyway. The next big piece of information that you need to know. It is completely free to see the show. It is a not-for-profit organization. At least this center, it is not-for-profit. So you get in completely free. There is a charge for parking, though. But it's only $1 if you do it right. And you have to make sure that before you actually pay for parking, you're actually at the parking spot at 9 o'clock or something like that. So, it's one of those things that there's more information online for you guys. I also have no idea where the show is going to next. I tried to find that out when I went to the website. theartofthebrick.com. It actually just redirected me to artofthebricktampa.com. So I think that's just the thing that's going to be happening for a while until he finds somewhere else to go. So what about the show then? The show starts off, you've got like a little movie thing that you can watch, and then it is the first half of the show, or I guess the first third, is a bunch of recreations of classical art pieces, famous art stuff from history. So I got to get a little excited about some of the stuff that I knew, particularly Greek and Roman art and architecture. There was a little piece of medieval art that was recreated. There was a bunch of other things that I probably would have recognized had I taken Art History 2 more recently. I remember more from Art History 1 because it was dealing more with just a lot of older stuff and more or less sculpture and architecture. So the Venus of Willendorf was recreated, which is hilarious. And then there were a few other contemporary art pieces that were also created. So I got to like have my art history knowledge. I majored in art, and I ended up for some reason taking a few more art history classes than required. So I had a bit more background knowledge. So I knew about the Kriyos boy and the oh man, I can't even remember now, but there's stuff. So, you know, it's great. Then you get into the section that he did. I kind of wish that he had put dates as to when some of these things were made, only because I remember seeing stuff from his website saying it was like 2005. And some of it was like, okay, this is nice, but when can we get to the stuff that really matters, like Metamorphosis, the Human Condition, Into Darkness, and In Pieces. Those are some of the best sections in there. So really, it's like it takes a while to get through all of the recreations and stuff, particularly because there's like 3 paragraphs on each one, and the last paragraph is where he talks about what his process was when it came to making it, and then everything else has got like just a little sentence or maybe a short paragraph. And then at the very end of it all, you have the gift shop, where I got this keychain, which is why I'm showing it to you here, as well as this neat little magnet. There were 6 different things to choose from. I chose yellow because yellow is my favorite, and I kind of wish that Lego Ideas mini yellow sculpture thing was a thing that was made possible, but it's probably because of all these loose pieces that I don't think Lego would be okay with giving you 100 loose 1x1 plates. So, you know. But anyway, as well as in that area that has the gift shop, there are a bunch of Lego bins that are just filled with pieces. And of course, like, I spent about an hour and a half there with having my dad go around searching for the pieces I needed, because all I was doing was basic bricks. I made a hand, and yeah, because of course that's what I would do. So I don't know if it's still there. It probably isn't. But when my dad and I first showed up, because we were the first group in there to actually get into the waiting area before the tour kind of continued. There's no tour necessarily, but just we were part of the first group, and when you get put into the building, you're in a little holding area for about 5 minutes, and you can see into the room that has all the Lego stuff, and there were a few things that were still left on the shelves, so hopefully what I did was good enough to stay up there, but doubtful. Particularly because that was on July 1st, and now it's the 5th. So yeah, that's also why this video is late, is that nobody else is in the house. I'm able to actually talk and do things a little more. I've already recorded this before, and it was awful. It was really bad and boring, not very exciting at all, and it probably still isn't all that exciting right now. But I do have to say, go see the show. It's really cool. It's free. If you live in the Orlando area, it takes about an hour and a half to get there. But considering it's free, and the fact that my dad and I, we spent 3 hours there, like, if nothing else, you can at least spend a lot of time building something. So that will help eat up the time, because I'm kind of the philosophy that you should stay in a place about the same length of time or longer than when the amount of time it takes to get to the destination and back. So if you're driving an hour and a half out somewhere, which means you have to drive an hour and a half back, you should stay in the area for about 3 hours, maybe more, just to really make your time more worthwhile. There are other things to do. I have no idea what the prices are, though. There's a Tampa Bay Historical Center. There's the aquarium. We didn't do any of that stuff. Instead, we decided to go to Danny's All-American Diner, because we saw it on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. So, as I already mentioned, it is very important that you get there at 10. And the reason why is because a lot of people show up. That is the one downside, is that a lot of people show up to this. Part of that might be because it's free. Part of it might just be that it's a great show. But also because it's Lego, there's a bunch of younger kids that also come to this thing. So it's a little annoying to try and take pictures because you got a whole bunch of people, but then you've also got a bunch of little kids you got to worry about because it's like, oh man, we got these little kids here and they do whatever they want. God bless them. Because, you know, I remember when I was a kid doing things like kind of running around and you know, and this would be like extremely cool because you get to see a bunch of stuff that this one guy made out of Lego pieces. Except it's not just one thing, it's like 100 things, and you get to see them, so. The other thing that I also want to mention about this, kind of a downside, kind of not, at the same time, there wasn't anything kind of keeping you from touching the art. There was a bunch of little signs that said, do not touch, but not exactly anything that could really stop you. There were people watching to make sure. But I'm pretty sure if you really wanted to, you could totally just, like, come on and, like grope one of the pieces. I don't know, that's a terrible way to say it, but, oh man, I hope you laughed at that, because I did. But I was really surprised. There was really only one section that you couldn't really touch anything. And that's because there were, like, little bits of chain on the ground, because the pieces were actually all over the floor, and not so much like on any of the little pedestals or anything. But yeah, there's like no acrylic box to kind of go around some of the stuff on the pedestals, so that does help with taking pictures. But it also it makes me concerned, because it's like, how many people walked off with a brick, and it's like, you know, I could have easily done that. It could have easily been like a Felix Gonzalez Torres or something. Is that right? Felix Torres? Oh, God. Oh, what is his name? He did all the candy spells. I want to say that was Felix Gonzalez Torres from the 90s. His work is very conceptual, and it just deals with spilled pieces of candy in giant piles, and you were free to take them. It was encouraged. And so it's like, man, I wonder how many people walked off with these little 2x3 bricks from Yellow, or from swimming, or from, oh man, or hands. I mean, just like, there are a number of things that have loose pieces, and it's very, very scary to think about people just walking off with some of these. But at the same time, who else can say that you have a Nathan Sawaya Lego brick? Now, there's nothing that really says like, oh yes, this is Nathan Sawaya's Lego brick. It's not like it's engraved on there, but you know, that I imagine that somebody out there in the world has at least one piece from a sculpture of his, and it's like, yo, this is a Nathan Sawaya. So, you know, but yeah, anyway. This has been MC Lego Boy with a review of The Art of the Brick. So go see the show, you guys. It's pretty great. I have no idea where it's coming next, but if it's coming to you soon, go see it. Alright, see you guys.